Welcome to our next exercise. In this tutorial, we're going to be creating the bracket that you now see on your screen. As we've mentioned before, there's a number of different ways to do this. As you've also probably noticed, this bracket happens to be perfectly symmetrical. What I'm going to do is create half of it first. And then I'm going to use the mirror tool to mirror it against the ZY plane. The logical starting point for the part is this cylindrical segment on the right. Okay, let's get cracking. We'll begin by creating a new part document. I'm on the Metric tab, Standard Part Document in millimeters. Click OK. Inventor has already created Sketch 1 for me, so I can get drawing, but let's exit the sketch. What I'd like to do first is edit the sketch plane. I'm going to right-click on Sketch 1 and select Redefine. Now let's select the YZ plane, and let's double-click on Sketch 1 to activate it. Notice after I redefine the sketch plane, two dimensions are needed. Basically, what's happened here is that I lost the fixed origin point. Let's select and delete this floating point here. Now let's click Project Geometry. We'll select Center Point. And now we're ready to sketch. Let's activate the Line tool. I'll snap to the center point. Let's create an 8mm horizontal line. Now a 25mm vertical line. Let's enter our length, 25. Press Enter. Now you'll notice when I pressed Enter, the vertical constraint glyph wasn't visible. Let me show you what that looks like. Here it is. So what I ended up with is a line that's not vertical, but that's easy to fix. Let's escape to exit the Line tool. Now select the vertical constraint and apply it to this line. Let's activate the Line tool again. We'll snap to this point, an 8mm horizontal line. Now a 3mm vertical line. Here's the parallel glyph. It's now visible. While that glyph is visible, let's enter our dimension of 4mm and enter. Now 19mm vertical and 4mm horizontal. Press Enter. I want to show you one more thing. Remember that the beginning of my sketch was right here, the center point. You maybe think that I can right-click and close, but watch what happens when I select right-click and close. Notice my line jumped over here instead. The reason for this is that I'd restarted the Line tool up at this corner, as you may remember. Let's press Escape. Now let's select and delete this unwanted line. And let's add one more line. Just activate the Line tool. Make it coincident with these two endpoints. And let's press Escape to close the Line tool. This lets us check if the sketch is fully constrained, and as you can see, it is. Let's activate the Line tool again. And select Center Line. I'm going to drop another vertical line right about here. The length of the line doesn't matter. Let's press Escape to close the tool. And now let's activate the Dimension command. I'll select this point and this point. And let's enter a value of 25mm for this dimension. OK. And let's press Escape to exit the Dimension tool. The status bar tells us that two more dimensions are needed. We basically need to dimension the center line. We don't really have to proceed, but let's just do it anyway. I'll apply a horizontal relation to these 2 points, and again to the 2 bottom points. Our sketch is fully constrained, so let's click Finish Sketch. Let's insert a second sketch now on the YZ plane. Right-click and New Sketch. We're going to use this sketch for the arm of the bracket. Activate the Project Geometry tool. Now we'll select this line and this point. Press Escape to close the tool. And let's right-click on Sketch 1 and unselect Visibility. Now activate the Line tool. Snap to this point. Let's create a 100mm horizontal line. Now a 15mm vertical line. Next, an 8mm horizontal line and a 30mm vertical line. Another 8mm horizontal line and a 15mm vertical line. Another 8mm horizontal line. And now I'll create a tangent arc simply by dragging from this point. Let's close the profile. We'll snap to this point and here. And let's press Escape to exit the line tool. As you can see in the status bar, one dimension is still needed. I'm going to apply an equal relation between this line and this line. Now our sketch is fully constrained. Let's activate the Offset command. Here's our offset. Let's apply a dimension now. The offset distance we will define at 3mm. OK. I need to create one more offset. Here we go. Press Escape to exit the Offset tool. Here I only need this arc. And let's delete the rest of the lines. If you do select too many lines, what you can do is hold down the Shift key and then unselect with left clicks. Let me continue just tidying up my geometry here. Last segment right here. Now I'm going to activate the Line tool. And we'll apply a horizontal relation to this second line. Let's apply some dimensions now. $10mm here. And 10mm here as well. A third dimension, also 10mm. OK, let's tidy up our geometry. We'll activate the Trim command. Right-click, Extend. And back to Trim. Right-click and Trim. Just get that little bit right there. Notice we lost the 10mm dimension right here, so let's reapply it. The status bar tells us that one more dimension is needed. Right here, 30mm. Now our sketch is fully constrained. Let's click Finish Sketch. Let's right-click on the YZ plane and select New Sketch. I'll begin by projecting a couple points. Project geometry, first point, second point right here. And let's exit the tool. Let's right-click and unselect Visibility for Sketch 2. Activate the Line tool now. Snap here to this point. And let's create a 4mm vertical line, 3mm horizontal line, 2mm vertical, 2mm horizontal, 9mm vertical, 2mm horizontal, and another 3 vertical. Here's 4mm. Press Enter. And right-click and select Close. Press Escape to exit the tool. Let's activate the Copy command now. Select the geometry to copy with a window selection. Be sure you don't select this point here. Now select the base point and the Move To point. Done. As you can see, I missed a line. Let's just place it with the Line tool. Now we need a center line. And let's apply some dimensions. Let's select this point in our center line, dimension it at 10 millimeters. Click OK. And let's apply constraints. Let's dimension the distance between these two lines at 30 millimeters. OK. Now let's apply a vertical relation between this point and this point. Our sketch is fully constrained. Let's click Finish Sketch. And this concludes our first lesson on this part. We'll pick up where we left off in our next lesson.